Hey folks, this is Don Graves. Greetings to you. Thank you so much for last evening. We had a great time, didn't we? I want to quickly review last week and talk to you about this week's homework. It is vital to where we want to go, to your final project, that you invest a little time in this. It'll take you about 60 minutes to do this, maybe a little bit less. But I want you to give it heart and thoughtfulness and prayer in doing it. Last night we talked about Sermon on the Mount Jesus, and the Jesus we worship is directly connected to how we engage the lost. And we looked at Sermon on the Mount Jesus, Jesus talks, and then we looked at Jesus walks, Matthew 8 and 9, and the end of that. Very important paradigm shift, that how we view Christ, how we view Jesus, directly impacts how and our willingness to engage the world. Then we talked about the two islands, Christendom, the island we live, and what's church and how people view it. The church is just not Christ, it's just not our creed, what we believe, but really it's a culture. It's a culture that involves our music and our rules and our leaders and our programs and our buildings and all of that, and that's a culture. And we talked about what does it mean to, when we find people on the island, I called it unsaved island, how do we engage them? What does that mean to engage them? And our first tendency for the person who has some desire is to bring them back across the island. And then our second is, well, we're going to bring the island, we're going to bring our culture to them and open up the doors and say, come, don't you enjoy our music? Isn't this good stuff here? So this week, and my buddy Buzz Lightyear, listen, I want you to go to Luke chapter 10, verses 1 through 16. This is very important to your homework. I didn't have time to explain it clearly. That's why I'm sending this to you today. Luke chapter 10, verses 1 through 16. What I want you to do is the same thing you did last week. On a piece of paper, I want you to do 3 columns. 1, 2, and 3. All right? On the first column, I want you to write out the scripture verbatim as it reads. All 16 verses. Write it out, please. Don't type it out. You have to use your hand, and I'll tell you why that's important next time. Secondly, in the middle column, I want you to rewrite those verses in your own words. In your own words. All right? Luke 10, 1 through 16. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. And rewrite it in your own words. Very, very critical that you do that. Now, here are the 3 questions that you're going to answer. From that passage, there are some things that Jesus tells his disciples to do. There's some responsibilities they have. What are those responsibilities? I simply want you to say, what are the responsibilities of those who Jesus has sent out from this passage? Number 2, he sends them to some people. What are the characteristics of the people that he sends them to, or who they're supposed to look at as well? Do that, jot that down, and then we're going to summarize it. Very important. If you're going to write a manual, a blueprint to say, I want to reach young girls who do prostitution in North Philly. I want to reach someone in Abington, or this community of Sikhs. I want to reach them. All right. Then from Luke chapter 10, and you're free to go to Matthew 10 as well, find the parallel story, different setting, some parallel truths. Matthew 10, Luke 10. But from this, I want you to write 25 things that would be important ingredients for you to birth this ministry, this missional engagement. 25 things to say, write it as a manual. Number 1, make sure that blah, blah, blah. Number 2, always blah, blah, blah. Right? You got it? That's your missional manual. You can email me, don@dongraves.com. You can call me, 215-313-7587. That's me right here. Oh, here's a text from my wife. And I asked her to bring me a little lunch today because I ran out. She's away. So if anybody's around near Jenkintown, can you bring me some lunch? Okay, listen, love you all. You're the absolute best. You're my heroes. I really mean that. Appreciate what you're doing. Talk to you later.